If you're wanting a 18-inch set of logging tongs and you're retired like me and you want to make them yourself, then this video might be of interest to you. They really don't cost that much. I think Northern Hydraulics or Northern Tool has them for about $30. But if you're looking for projects, looking for a way to occupy time, then maybe this video will be of some interest to you. And there's my drawing printed out and glued to a sheet of 3/8 thick coal roll. It's 3 inches wide. I didn't have anything any wider. I'm actually had to print out a bending layout so that when I get through I'm going to have to bend those a little bit more. The curvature you see there isn't going to be what the final result is. But if you had a wider stock, you could use the bending template as a sawing template, or for your water jet or whatever, for you folks that have the fancy equipment. But I can make the drawings available if I choose to put this on YouTube. I'm one of those that sit around and look at YouTube videos one right after another, and I haven't been putting anything back. I'm just a user, so I need to change that and start putting some of my projects back onto YouTube. I empty you guys with water jet. Probably more than enough of that. Okay, that didn't take long. What I'll do next, well, I won't until after I drill my hole, but I'll take Dicom or lacquer thinner, or you can use mineral spirit, and put on the paper, and then I'll be able to pull the paper off the pattern. It's just stuck on. I may not have said, but it's just stuck on with, turn that off. It's just stuck on with spray contact cement. As a matter of fact, if you don't get in a hurry and you pull it off slow, sometimes it'll come off without tearing the paper. Now, since I didn't have the right width stock, I had to cut mine out a narrower stock, because I'm not about to buy anything I don't have to. Trying to use up stuff before I pass on. I'm going to have to bend those. And in case somebody has a question about these blue lines, they're essentially a bend allowance line. As long as they match somewhat in length, then when I get through bending this, it ought to fit that pattern there. So I'm going to the hydraulic press next. It's just stupidly bend it to match the pattern, so I don't see any point in videoing that. If you had the right width stock, which I didn't have, you just simply cut your tongs out of the what I call the bend layout, and you wouldn't have to go to the press. Yours would be the right shape. Okay, I got a surprise on my bend. Now, my bend allowance is off a little. It looks like I've got maybe close to an 1/8 inch or 100,000. Oops. Extra extra length. That's okay. All it'll do is, instead of 18 and 5/16, it'll open up more like 18 and a half or something. But here's my surprise, is how this point didn't turn out right. So I'm going to have to heat this up. I don't think I can get in there with my hydraulic press. Nothing to push on over here to bend that around. So I have to heat that up and tap that around. But I would suggest, if you were to do this flat layout in 3-inch wide material, which I really don't recommend, because this fiddling and diddling at the press is taking too long. Of course, I didn't make any special tools for it. I'm using a tool that really is for a solid steel rod, but and it's denting it. But that's, who cares? It's tongs. But I would suggest that that you change the angle on this. I'd say a good 1/4 of an inch. Put this point back around a 1/4 of an inch more, if you were to do this. Best still just to saw it out by the bend layout. Be done with it. Be right the first time. But anyway, that's what I encountered. It's going to work. Good enough for the girls I run with. Put a little dicom thinner on it. Same thing as lacquer thinner, or essentially the same thing. The paper will just come right off. Like I got some Scotch tape. Actually, it makes Scotch tape, the non-sticky side, stick. I got a bunch of grinding to do, clean it up. I got dents in them from the bending. Boy, do I recommend you just bite the bullet and buy the right width stock. I had to do over. I probably still wouldn't. I haven't gone to the trouble of bending them to shape. I'd still done the same thing. But anyway, that gets the pattern off. Oh, by the way, I did center punch the holes before I took the pattern off. I had center punch these, automatic center punch. Most of you probably know about them, but for the few that don't know about them, I didn't have it. You can set how hard they strike with an adjustment on the end. I didn't have it set very strong, and it didn't put much of a center punch mark in them. Most couldn't find them. But anyway, this is an automatic center punch. You just push down on it. Like I say, if you want it to really punch deep, you put that on down, but you've got to push harder on it. I don't know, this is a sterret, I guess. Let me see. No, it's not a sterret. It's an eclipse. Actually, I think it's as good or better than the sterret. My sterret didn't hold up too good. But anyway, eclipse. Made in England. No. Yeah, made in England. English can make pretty good stuff. That's how they work. You don't have to hit them that many times. Kind of an overkill. between this and a hand disc grinder and whatever else you happen to want to use, flap wheels, whatever, you can make them look as pretty as you like. I'd already spot drilled. Anyway, drill it next. That drill it to whatever size you want. I think I'm going to get 5/16 D-ring and probably put a 1/2 inch screw through here. But anyway, drill it to whatever sizes you want to use. Okay, I got it, I think, good enough for the girls I run with. Now, I found a bolt with a shoulder, a little short shoulder. As a matter of fact, it turned out to be just about perfect. It's a 1/2 inch bolt. So I tapped one side, one of the tongs, and then put a clearance drill in the other. See if that's in the video. Yeah. Anyway, that shoulder bottom's at just about right, and a jam nut on the other side. So it's not rocket science. I haven't drilled these holes to final size yet because I'm not sure what my D shackles are going to look like. But anyway, that's where I'm at now. Since this is my first instructional video of how to build something, I'm sure it's going to be lacking in many ways. But y'all just have to bear with it. Okay, I got them in the vise. To get them lined up, all I'm going to do is just pull on that sucker and turn this to get them to line up. Not that it's important if they line up. Definitely good enough for the girls I run with. Went to Walmart and bought these little 5/16 8mm, they call it chain shackle. I'd call it a D shackle. And this is 3/4 of an inch, 3/8 of an inch diameter. I guess that's the 5/16 part there. And they cost $2.97. This is January 2015. So this is pretty much all that it takes. Made a steel ring, took some 3/8 cold roll and took a 2.5 inch diameter steel piece of cold roll, 2.5 inch diameter cold roll, and clamped it in a vise, the 3/8 in the vise beside of it, and wrapped it around there. I wished I'd wrapped it around 2 or 3 times. I could have made 2 or 3 of these just as easy as I made one. And then I sprung it open a little bit, well, lined it up. Of course, it's more like a coil of a spring. Lined it up, sprung it open a little bit, and TIG welded the gap up. Probably had a 5/16 gap. TIG welded the gap up, flipped it over, and then started at the bottom at that web that I put in there and welded it up solid. So it's solid steel. The weld that I used was stainless, and it's 120,000 pounds per square inch. So it's stronger than the cold roll. And I'm sure that it opened up quite a bit. You know, it's got a 2 3/4 inch ID now. I don't think that's critical. And I think I've already mentioned I tapped one, found a bolt, half-inch bolt with the threads missing on the upper part of it, just the right thickness for the one that's going to turn in. And a jam nut. And I guess all this will go together. I hadn't had it together yet. Yep. So far, so good. I have to use wire to tie that off so it won't. There we go. Let's see if we got 18 and 1/2 inches. Oh, we got 19 and 1/2 inches. I guess because this got a little bit bigger round up here. I think I had it drawn at 2 inches or something. 2 and 1/2 is what I had it drawn at. So we got 19 and 1/2 inches. I'm still going to call them 18-inch logging tongs. So take them back apart and go paint them. They're just cold rolled, so they'll rust. I'm not going to point these any more than they're pointed out. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm not done yet. I'm not ready to paint. I got to put the pieces on here that you hit with a hammer. I got to go make them, put them on, then I'll go paint. Okay, I've got little pieces made that I'm going to weld on the center on both of the tongs. And they're 1 inch in diameter, about 3/4 thick and domed. You wouldn't have to make them all that fancy. But anyway, that's what I did. And then that's what gets hit with a hammer, in case you want to drive that in. Okay, let's put it together. Okay, ready to put it together. That's marine grease. Put on my bolt. Once it goes outside, it gets marine grease. I'm not real sure what regular grease is good for anymore. I don't ever buy it anymore. Come on. Can't believe that paint makes that much difference. But I guess it does. didn't bring any wire in here. I have to tie that off this wire. Got a hole for the locking wire. Okay, there we are. I failed to show how to make the ring out of the 3/8 diameter cold roll steel. First thing I did was take a piece of 2.5 inch diameter cold roll. This obviously is for a different job. It's a much smaller set of rings I'm making for something. But first I clamped the arbor, we'll call that, up next to the vise. Then I've already made some with this. So I already got a curve, otherwise it'd be straight, it's no big deal. I simply clamp that in the vise. Now the last ones of these things I made, some of them broke and some of them were successful. I don't know if this will be successful or not. We'll find out. Now obviously this is much smaller in diameter, so it'll be a lot easier to bend if it don't break on me. And had I had the foresight, I would have made more than one of those rings. I happen to need 3 of these, and I'll make at least 3. Looks like I'm going to get away with it. I've already got about 3, it looks like. You can imagine how hard the 3/8 cold roll was to bend with this little old 1/4 inch aluminum. I think it's 2024 aircraft aluminum, so it's not all that easy. No wonder it's not breaking on me. 2024 aircraft aluminum usually breaks. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on around. Matter of fact, it's not a whole lot easier than that 3/8 cold roll was. Of course, I was bending cold roll on a larger diameter. But anyway, I'll take that to the bandsaw, saw up through there and have me a bunch of rings, kind of line them back up. They'll be at an angle to one another, just like a spring coil, and TIG weld them together. There's a bunch. Slide. Right. Here, 5. That's what I thought I was going to get. I need 3. I have 2 for put in a drawer somewhere and forget I got them. Go. All I gotta do is that.
one more time. Anyway, you get the picture.
There's the little wires to keep this from being able to unscrew. Little wire locks, keepers, whatever you want to call them. I'm sure they got a name.